And see, he takes me on processes and journeys. That's why you need God and your medicine. You can't be sitting around saying you waiting on the Lord, honey. You need your dosages too. That's why you need your scriptures and your prescription. You need your prayer life and your therapy. Sick of all this foolishness. You need it all. Because in your life, God takes you on a journey. This is a Bible class. I would talk about Mark chapter 1, verse 18, where Jesus went into the Sea of Galilee and he told a bunch of fishermen to retire. And when he told them to retire, the Bible says immediately they dropped their nets and followed him. Or in Mark 1:31, when Simon's mother-in-law had a fever, and so she was stricken with this thing, and the Bible says that Jesus took her by the hand and lifted her up, and immediately the fever. I would talk about maybe Mark 1:42, where a man was suffering with leprosy, and he had leprosy, and after Jesus spoke a word, and they said after Jesus finished speaking the word, the leprosy immediately left him. Or maybe we can talk about Mark chapter 2, I think it's verse 12, where Jesus was at an undisclosed location, and once again some friends tore the roof off the building and lured a man down with palsy, and Jesus saw him in the middle of his preaching and spoke to him, and the Bible says that straightway he was healed. Or we'll talk about something I preached last month in Mark chapter 5:29, where the Bible says a woman was crawling on the ground with an issue of blood, and she began to tug on his hem, and as she tugged on the hem, the Bible says immediately her fountain was dried up. Or maybe we'll talk about what I talked about a few weeks ago with Jairus' daughter in Mark 5:42, where she died when they were on the way to the house, and Jesus got over and rose her up, and the Bible said immediately he said to that girl, get up, girl, get up. And he said, girl, get up. And when he said, girl, get up, the Bible says immediately she got up. Oh, we'll talk about Mark 7:35, when Jesus ran into a man who was deaf and blind. He had double trouble. And the Bible says that his presence, straightway his ears became unstopped and his eyes opened. Or we can talk about one of the most famous ones in Mark 10 verse 52, with blind Bartimaeus, who was on the side of the road crying out for God to heal him. And the Bible says that straightway he received. I'm just saying to you, people of God, that God has the power to do it immediately, but there are some times that this right now God doesn't give me a right now miracle. Do you want it bad enough for God to do something really unorthodox in your life to make it happen? How bad do you want it? You have to ask yourself that question. Am I willing to do things that make me uncomfortable? Am I willing to do things that make people might not want to talk to me or deal with me no more, solely because God said do it? Am I willing to make everybody around me uncomfortable to receive? And if you're not willing to do that, that's probably why you are where you are. Because God says you don't want it bad enough. And what you learn as you go through the process is that the miracle is the process. The miracle is the journey. Why? Because the fact that you had the tenacity to keep going, the fact that you had the stick-to-itness to keep going, the fact that you had the determination, the fact that you showed up day after day, working it out, shows that God was on your side the whole time, working on your behalf when you didn't know nothing about it. And so you look back at it and say, if it had not been for the Lord